guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my December TBR. It's all very exciting. The year is coming to an end. Christmas is coming and I'm always so excited about Christmas. I have a very busy Christmas ahead of me, but that is a story for another day. Let's talk about the books I am planning on reading during December, which aren't very wintry books, but I'm not a person who reads a specific genre in a specific month. I just keep on reading the books I like reading. I read contemporary, historical fiction, like genres really. I only currently have 3 books on my December TBR. I am going to start using my TBR jar again because I realized I was looking around my room and I was cleaning up my room and stuff, and I realized I didn't use this in the last couple of months. So I think I need to start using this again, especially because there are only like a couple of challenges left in here and it's kind of sad to not just finish it and maybe do something else with this jar. That would be fun potentially. So I am going to use that at the end of the video, but for now I'm going to tell you the 3 books I was planning on reading in December anyway. The first one being a book I borrowed from the library. I haven't borrowed a book from the library in such a long time, and then my boyfriend suggested it and I was like, why the heck not? And now I borrowed a book and I brought it back and now I borrowed 2 more books. Like, I am really in the mood again. And then my library decided to close up for a month and move to a different location. So you see how that is going. I have to wait until like January to go back to the library, but I can keep these 2 books I borrowed until the end of January, I believe. So I have some time to read both of them. I was planning on reading 1 book in December and 1 book in January, so you only see one of those 2 books in this video. But the book I wanted to read in December is Whisper to Me by, I almost wanted to say Bloomsbury, but that's the publisher obviously, by Leigh. It's been a while since I read a book by a male author, I believe. This has a very contemporary, girly looking cover, but I picked this book up because it has a very serious premise and it sounded super interesting. It's about a girl who is schizophrenic and she is writing a letter to a boy to apologize about some things she's done to him. So I have no clue what she has done to this boy, but I'm excited to find out. And the schizophrenia exposure is also kind of nice. I have to look up whether Leigh is schizophrenic himself and see if this is his own voices or not, and if it's not, whether the representation is good by reading reviews, because I'm not schizophrenic myself. I think it's going to be very exciting reading a book by a male author, which I haven't done in a while. And I've had this on my library wishlist for a while now, so I'm finally getting to some library books, which is good because I have quite a long list because I haven't been borrowing books from the library, which I have been paying for the last year. So I think I should definitely change that in the future. The next book is based on a book I read previously, and the book I want to read next is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. I think last month or the month before that, I think in October, I read another book by Ruta Sepetys. It is the spin-off novel from Between Shades of Grey. The book was called Salt to the Sea. I really enjoyed that one, but then I realized that one of the main characters has a cousin called Leigh, and Leigh is the main character in Between Shades of Grey, and I didn't know that. Salt to the Sea is the first book I read by Ruta Sepetys, and she only has 2 books out right now, I believe. So I really wanted to read Between Shades of Grey after reading Salt to the Sea because I heard what happened to Lena's family and it sounded really interesting, and I was interested in how this all came about and whether Leigh would survive all of this. Salt to the Sea was a very emotional, realistic read, and I'm excited to see whether Between Shades of Grey is also like that. I've heard a lot of good things about this book anyway. Leigh is a 15-year-old Lithuanian girl and the story takes place in 1941. But then one night Soviet officers come into her home and arrest her entire family. Leigh, her mom and her brother get separated from her dad and they get pushed into this train car and they get transported to this work camp in Siberia, and no one really gets out of Siberia. Somehow I feel like Leigh gets out of Siberia, and I'm really curious to see how that will happen. This is 4.37 average rating on Goodreads, so that is very good. I'm a little bit afraid because mostly when books get high average ratings, I don't tend to really like them, but let's hope this book will be different. And then the last book is a book that recently came out and everyone has been waiting for years. It is Kingdom of Ash, the 7th and final book in the Throne of Glass series. I haven't been enjoying the Throne of Glass series for some time now. I really don't like Sarah J. Maas went with Slayers of Dothian's storyline. But I'm excited to finally be wrapping up this series because I have been following it. I won't tell you what the book is about because it is the final book in a series, but the first book, Throne of Glass, was about a girl called Selena Sadothian who was an assassin, and she got locked up in this work camp, and then the king decides to take her out of this work camp to make her his personal champion. She has to participate in this contest to become his personal champion, and this means that she will basically be the king's assassin. This is the only chance she'll get to ever get out of this camp, and she takes a chance. What the whole first book is about, and the story really builds from there. The 7th book is nothing like the first book anymore. I think the first book was really the only thing anything I enjoyed, aside from the short stories in The Assassin's Blade, which was a prequel to Throne of Glass. I don't think I really enjoyed any of the books after that anymore, at least not as much as Throne of Glass, and particularly the recent books haven't really been my favourite, although Tower of Dawn, which followed Kill, was kind of nice. Still not my favourite really, but I am happy that I can finally wrap up this series and see where the whole story will go. There was a challenge from the All About You challenge this month, although I don't remember what the challenge was, but one of the books definitely fit that challenge. So let's just move on to my TBR jar now, shall we? Exciting, exciting. I don't know what challenges are left in here. I think I made this TBR jar like 3 years ago. So the only challenge I'll pick is a trilogy. I have to read an entire trilogy. I'm not sure about this challenge. I think I'm going to decide I have to read a book in a trilogy, not an entire trilogy. I'm not sure. I don't think I have any trilogies on my TBR even. I'd have to look up a series for this, which is exciting. And I will do that, and then I'll get back to you, I guess.
Many hours later.
Well, I found something. I think I'm going to read the entire Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. This is a very popular trilogy. I have never even tried to read the first book. I have heard a lot of good things about it, and it sounds kind of like The Young Elite by Marie Lu, which is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. So I might want to give this a try and see if I can read the entire trilogy this month. I do have to read 6 more books to get to my 80 books goal of this year. Well, I didn't really have an 80 book goal this year, but I decided to try to get to 80 books because then I will have read more than I did in previous years. Except for 2016, I don't count 2016 because that year was ridiculous and I managed to read like 170 books, but I don't count that anymore because I will never reach that goal again. So 80 books is the goal. Shadow and Bone. If you don't know what Shadow and Bone is about, it's about a girl called Alina who discovers she has this very strong power when one of her best friends gets brutally injured. She just unleashes this power and then gets sent to an army to train this power, and the leader of this army is called the Darkling. That's really all I know. I know he's like a morally grey kind of character, and I like those kind of characters. A lot of people ship Alina with the Darkling, and I also already kind of know the ending of this series, at least for the ship. I'm kind of afraid for that, honestly, but we'll see how this goes, and I might fall in love with the Darkling and Alina. I can at least give it a try, right? What everyone is talking about after all these years, because it has been popular for quite a few years now. So these are the books I want to try and read in the month of December. It only went from 3 to 6 books, but we'll see how all of that goes. I managed to read more than 3 books in a month, but I've just been giving myself very low goals so I can choose what I feel like during the month. But this month I don't think that will really be a thing. I don't think I will read more than 6 books, but we can try, we can see how this goes. Maybe I will like Shadow and Bone like a lot, and I will read all of the books in like 2 days each. So maybe, probably not. Let me know down below whether you've read any of these books and what you think about them, or what are you going to read in December. I would love to know. Thanks for watching. Goodbye!